Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ghost Walk. Lovely night, is it not? My name is Stanley Hudson, and this is my daughter, Angela. We are employed as professional mourners. We are hired to attend wakes and funerals and mourn the dead. Not now, my dear. It is especially appropriate for us to be here for this event, as we are to be your ambassadors to tonight's offering, 1,000,000 Ways to Die in the 19th Century. Not now, my dear, not now.
But you said die.
Yes, but now is not the time. I will let you know when your services will be necessary. She is quite the eager worker and quite good at what she does. Nothing like a crying child at the solemn events that we service. Well, one crying at the appropriate time. She does bring us quite a bit of extra money. Tonight, though, in conjunction with the Sutliff Museum, we are here to discuss how the 1800s caused various forms of death. Not yet. I will let you know when your services are required.
Well, you said death. I was always told by the funeral directors when someone says die or death, I was supposed to cry.
Yes, but for right now, be quiet. Let me talk to the people here. We want to make sure that nothing untoward happens to anyone tonight. So let me impart to you some advice. Notice your guides in the night. There is one who goes before you and one who comes after. Stay with them. We wouldn't want to lose anyone.
Oh, we lost them so young.
Daughter, please.
Well, I was also told I was supposed to cry when anyone says lost.
Please mind the sidewalks as you go about tonight. Some are precarious, broken, and the like. They too can become slippery in the rain. So please take care as you walk tonight. Let us look out for one another as we pass through the night. And please, silence your communication devices. We wouldn't want to mar the solemnity of the event with a Baby Shark ringtone. Take care of one another, crossing oh so gently to view events from the next world in this world.
They're crossing over. Oh, Lord, help us. They're crossing over.
Angela, really? I don't know what has gotten into you. I should think you do enough wailing on the job. You don't need to do more here. Oh, I know what this is about. You want a share of the money. I've told you before that is quite impossible. How about I buy you some of that nice penny candy that you like? You know, the ones with the thick red coating?
Those made me sick last time. All the kids got sick from them. I want something else. I deserve it.
Stop, child. I have told you before that just because you make more money than I do, that I am still your father, and you need to listen to what I say. This child is going to be the death of me.
It isn't easy to lose a child. I know. I've lost 4. But somehow, losing Ruth... My name is Mrs. Levi Sutliff. Phoebe. Just call me Phoebe. Yes, my husband is a lawyer, and my brother-in-law a prominent judge. But my Baptist upbringing won't allow me to put on airs about that sort of thing, nor have servants either. We are plain, hardworking people, same as any other person. Same as those people currently being held in bondage. Yes, I said people, not property. God made us all, and all the same. I've talked to those poor souls when they stayed at our house before moving up north to Ashtabula. Their stories of hardship and loss make my own woes pale in comparison. They taught me that one needs to move forward and survive, not steep oneself in sentimentality. But Ruth, losing her, becoming a mother is a joy, but as all the women in my time know, children do not have much time to live. They come into the world so frail, so innocent, so delicate. There are diseases out there that try to take them from us, diseases over which we have no control, no ammunition in which to fight for our poor little ones. My first child was one such delicate creature and struggled to survive. He lasted only 4 short years. I lost my second child at birth. God gave him to me and then took him right back. Imagine my fear upon having my third child, Levi Granger. But God mercifully spared him, much to my great relief. My fourth boy, Plum, was also lucky enough to survive his childhood. Then came Mary Ruth. She was such a pleasant baby, full of life and laughter, smart and personable. She learned to read and write so easily, composing stories and poems of her own at such an early age. And how she loved to sew. I felt truly blessed to have this sweet child in my life, along with her 2 healthy brothers. The next 2 children to come along were girls, Phoebe Temperance and Lydia. Oh, those were busy years, handling the children and these anti-slavery society meetings and hiding the freedom seekers. I'm proud to say that our children were especially interested in our endeavors, just as much as my husband and I were. The warriors were very busy as we struggled to help the Northern Army defeat slavery in the South. Then when I became with child again, it seemed that my health took a turn for the worse. My 8th child was born weak and sickly, and I feared for his chances of survival. He only lasted a few months. During this time, my Ruthie was very close to me. She helped me with the younger children and cheered me by reading her stories and poems. She would sit by my side in the evening, helping me sew, reading me her stories. It seemed that we always had something to talk and laugh about, even in the days when I really didn't feel like laughing. Sometimes we would just sit together and I wouldn't have to talk. It seemed that she knew what I was thinking or how I felt. The time came when I felt that our family had turned a corner of sorts. And then there came an outbreak of diphtheria in our town. Diphtheria, more than anything else, is the scourge of childhood and brings fear into a mother's heart. Diphtheria is the strangling angel, coating the child's throat like a layer of leather so that breathing becomes near impossible. It attacks the heart and the nerves and other vital organs. Children simply cannot survive diphtheria. One can't take care of it, and there's no way to protect from it. I tried, though. I tried to stand between the disease and my children. I kept them in the house, not allowing them to go outside. I thought we would be safe. But then my Ruthie came down with what I thought to be just a cold. She had a cough and a sore throat, so I did what any mother would do. Gave her tea laced with honey, wrapped her throat with flannel. I kept her warm and away from drafts. I forbade the other children to come near her. I followed all the known treatments. But Ruthie got worse. Her throat tightened up with that thick mucus coating, and I knew it was just going to be a matter of time. Ill as she was, Ruth still insisted upon sitting with me in the parlor every evening until she could no longer manage it. And then I had to go and sit by her bedside to be with her. She wanted to continue working on a quilt we had started, so I would take it to her room at night. Ruthie's delicate fingers wandered across the diamond pattern, losing the strength to do much sewing. She willed herself to see its finish, and shortly after, she was gone. While I was still mourning Mary Ruth, a few months later, my husband Levi passed away. I and my 4 other children survived. They grew up to be very accomplished people. We all worked diligently for the good of the community. I didn't sit around and play the role of widowed socialite. I worked also, managing the American Hotel downtown. As I learned a long time ago, you have your woes, but you move forward. I'm proud of what my surviving children have accomplished to date. And yet, I can't help but wonder, if the others had survived, what would they have become? And I can't help but think if there might be anything more I could have done for them. Anything. Just anything.
All right, everyone. Gather around and let's get this meeting underway. All you businessmen have come here tonight for information and direction in this trying time. If we pull together and present a united front, I am sure we can weather this economic storm with ease and as little loss of profit as possible. Now you may ask yourselves, do we have an outbreak of cholera here or don't we? Now right there, my friends, is what I am trying to prevent: panic and the spread of misinformation. What we are discussing here tonight is serious and, I might add, private. Let's keep it under wraps, confined to right here in this room, so as we don't start no gossip among our citizens and customers. I don't know about you, but I can't afford to have people fleeing the town in droves upon hearing a whisper of the word cholera. Now let's all just settle down and devise a plan of action, shall we? It has been brought to my attention that old Doc Haynes has already been talking about an outbreak of dysentery over there in the East End, and people are getting concerned. Well, I took care of old Doc Haynes by convincing him that he should take care with his words, and that a nice long rest up in Cleveland would do him a great deal of good right now. Besides, everyone knows that the east end of town has a lot of them foreigners, them Irish and others. So it goes without saying how those people bring in a lot of different kinds of trouble into our town. If they practice any sort of decent cleanliness and care, not to mention their immorality, this situation would not be an issue. Now you may say to yourselves, I got a couple of them Irish coming to my house and such. They do a decent job. They work cheap too. And you may have an Irish cook too. Should you be concerned? Heck no, my friends. You know they got that miasma, that smell over there in that part of town. And it's been proven that miasma was causing a lot of trouble, but it's definitely not cholera. You ain't got the miasma over your house, do you? No. So you've got nothing to worry about. Hey, don't you go getting rid of those cooks neither. I hear that there's some of the best around. I'm looking for a dinner invitation too, if you haven't gotten the hint by now. Hey, well, I'd accept any invitations, but we've got more pressing issues right now. Now, men, we, as the prominent leaders of our community, need to steer our people properly through this little concern. And it is up to us to make sure that it stays little. We can have some talk about a couple of cases of dysentery blow up into full-blown damaging rumors that we have cholera here. That could ruin our town. I mean, it's most assuredly bound to go away soon, right? And we've had an outbreak of cholera back in 1846. One way come winter, didn't it? And it was proven then that that cholera outbreak was started by a lightning strike out there in Indiana, where that sulfur smell in the air consequently caused the deaths of a John Lister and his family the very next day. Now, we have not had any bad storms here recently, so there's nothing to worry about. I know, the women tend to worry excessively, poor, fragile dears. But they don't have the capacity to understand the complexities of a cholera scare. They tend to talk and spread a lot of gossip to each other in their concern for the health and safety of their families, their children, bless them. You know how silly women can be. We don't need to have that kind of unnecessary fear rampaging through our community. There is simply no need to be concerned. You can probably tell me terrible cholera stories of family and friends. Now see, those sorts of stories are highly unnecessary. You ought to be discouraged right away. The people of this town do not need to be reminded of past outbreaks and then automatically assume that we are approaching another one here. Can't you see the panic that would cause and the decrease of business in our community? When business falls, so does our city. As I said, we need to keep this thing under wraps, downplay the whole situation, and keep the people calm. You might ask, so what are we supposed to do? If it is cholera, it can't be stopped. It isn't, so there are no worries on that front. We need to go back to our businesses and act as though there is nothing wrong. Because there isn't. Hey, even a doctor in England was blaming a water pump for people dying. A water pump, can you imagine? What will they come up with next? It's no wonder we broke with the English. These are not rational people. And as we all know, London is quite a foul and immoral place. So it's no wonder that they have been sent such a plague. It's no worries for us here in Warren. The Mahoning River water from our good Ohio pumps has been blessed by God, as have we. We know pumps could never hurt anyone. Listen, we are all hardworking, God-fearing men. We have no reason to fear that the Almighty has any reason to punish us with a new outbreak of an old disease. We need to keep a united front against idle talk and against any disgruntled person spreading false information. Are you with me?
Hear, hear. Hear, hear.
As I said, we'll keep the contents of this meeting to ourselves. I think that we should meet again in about a month or so to review our city's progress, and remember, should anyone bring up the word cholera, squelch that right away. Right away. Don't let that word run rampant through our community. Good night, and good luck to all of you.
some particular ailment, have you? Well, you've come to the right place. The druggists here at E.A. Smith are the best you're gonna find on Market Street. We've got everything, anything you need. Now, I know why you come here because I know how you feel about doctors. To tell you the truth, I kind of feel the same way about them myself. Oh, I ain't knocking doctors, mind you. You can't find a nicer person than our Doc Harmon, both him and his brother. Give you the shirt right off his back. You know that's the truth. But come on, what do doctors really know? Sure, a doctor is fine if you have a broken bone that needs setting or you need some surgery, but it seems to me doctors are just guessing about the rest. Nobody knows what causes all the ailments people got, right? Miasma, bad air, maybe. Or that new theory about little tiny bugs making people sick. Yeah, right. Look, most doctors just apprentice with some other doctor for a couple of years and then go out on their own. So it comes down to knowing a little bit about the disease and staying up on the latest medicine. Like me, I am practically a doctor myself with everything I know about medicine. Plus, I talk to everyone who comes in here about how they're feeling. What else do you need to be qualified? So, like I said, you got some particular ailment? All right, let me see. Oh, now, don't go around saying anything to anybody. I ain't supposed to say anything after the meeting we just had, so this is just between you and me. Got it? But I hear tell there's a little trouble happening around the East End near the Irish section. Nothing to be worried about, just a couple cases of dysentery is all. But since you're good friends of mine, I didn't want your families to be caught unawares with some unfortunate condition. Oh, I'm not saying there's anything to be alarmed about cholera. All I'm saying is just be prepared. So you might want to pick up a bottle or 2 or 3 of that there calomel, maybe 3. It has some good mercury in it that should help you should the situation arise. Got it? Like I said, this is just between you and me. All right, now, if you or the kiddies have a little cough or cold, we've got a lot of stuff here that can help you. There are some new wonder drugs out just for the occasion. If the warm baths and wraps aren't doing the trick, we have some potions that you can add to warm water or tea that will help right away. You could try some nice spirit of juniper and peppermint oil to help your cough. That'll do the trick. Oh, that spirit of juniper has enough alcohol in it to calm the tickle in your throat in the rainy weather. If you're looking for something a little bit stronger to help the more persistent coughing, try some that there Kimball's white pine and tar cough medicine. It has some good ingredients in it, like chloroform, real good at quieting down your throat. If the kiddies are doing a little teething or have a cough or cold, you can try some that there Miss Winslow's soothing syrup. Really does like the name says and soothes them right away. It's got some good ingredients also, like mercury and alcohol. Really good for the throat. Is it safe to give them? Of course it is! Put as much on the gums as you need, or give them as many spoonfuls as they need. You'll see some good results. Now, that Bayer company has some new tablets out that are supposed to help with coughing and even the consumption. They've got what's called heroin in the ingredients, and they say it'll quiet even the most annoying symptoms. The Bayer company is real keen on these new tablets. They've been giving out lots of bottles as samples to druggists and doctors, trying to get the word out on how effective these pills really are. I could hunt you up a bottle if you're interested. But when it comes to coughs and colds, the thing my customers recommend the most is the one-night cough syrup. It's got some good ingredients in it also, like cannabis, chloroform, morphine, and alcohol. Just one bottle of that, and in one night you're gonna get some good sleep and your cough will truly be gone. Yeah, I get lots of repeat customers on that one. They swear by the stuff. Now, if your problem is pain, we've got lots of stuff that can help you. You got tooth pain, we've got oil of cloves. Or you could try some nice cocaine tooth drops. Yeah, that cocaine's another one of those drugs that's just taking the druggist shops by storm. You can get Allen's cocaine tablets, which are good for your headache, arthritis, as well as nervousness. I even have a nice drink for you to try if you need a little pepping up in your day. It's called Coca-Cola, and it has cocaine in it too. I drink it all the time, and I can really say it's fantastic. Or I could get you some Peruvian wine of coca. That stuff is really refreshing and invigorating. Does wonders for your entire body. Let me know if you're interested and I'll hunt you up a bottle. I've also got some good old-fashioned snake oil for you if you're interested. Good for rubbing on your joints after a long day in the field. I've also got back plasters, if you don't mind to try those. I've got the white lead ones too. For the digestive area, I have many fine products containing opium, both for pain and for the runs. Opium's real good for that one. I got the newest thing out for stomach issues. Ketchup. What is it? Well, it's made from tomatoes. Yeah, that's what I said, tomatoes. No, tomatoes are not poisonous. That's an old-fashioned notion. No, they've been found to be really good for you, especially in the digestive area. I've got tomato paste and pills both. I tell you, it's the latest thing. Tomato pills cure all ills. Diarrhea, jaundice, cholera. No? Well, I've also got some baking soda and diarrhea cordials and Dr. Tutt's liver pills to end constipation. That Dr. Tutt says constipation is a crime against humanity. I can personally relate to that one, so he must know what he's talking about. I also have medicines for various female ailments. Being a bachelor myself, I cannot and do not wish to speak too specifically on the subject. Let me just say we have many fine products containing heroin and opium that should take care of the situation should the need arise. I am also obligated to say that we carry several devices to be used for female hysteria. Enough said on that. All right, let's wrap this up. I don't want to come off like we're having a medicine show with magicians and traveling balladeers, but we do carry some of their Indian Kickapoo Joy Juice if you have a mind to try that. Let me say it is some darn good stuff. Come by anytime. Got lots and lots of repeat customers. They will testify that all of our products are A-OK.
Well, this is quite a different crowd from the one I encountered when I was last in Trumbull County. No torches or pitchforks this evening. Oh yes, madam, such things did happen in real life, not just in your romance novels or in your comic books. Oh, I suppose I'm going about this all wrong. My name is Dr. Henry Augustus Du Bois. I was born on the 8th of August, 1808, in New York City. As a child, I was always interested in scientific things, and I decided to follow that with pursuing science as a physician at the Oxford University, where I graduated in 1827. I then continued my medical training at the College of Physicians and Surgeons in New York, where I graduated in 1830. But I was very disappointed with my training. A surgeon who is expected to know everything that there is to know about the human body was trained using poorly copied, cheaply printed versions of the anatomical illustrations of Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. My father, generous man that he was, granted me the grand tour of Europe. Now, your modern generations interpret that as an extended period of drinking, eating, traveling, and other less salubrious pastimes. But I, like many of my contemporaries, used the time to pursue interests that pertained to our personal interests. The best locations were in England and Scotland, where the cadavers of executed criminals were delivered to the schools for educational purposes. There is nothing on earth like making your first delicate incisions into the thoracic cavity of the human and observing for yourself the marvels contained therein by the Creator. Occasionally, the services of resurrection men were solicited to, the modern term might be dig up, and deliver to the schools educational materials. Now, in Paris, where the education was comparable to the American one, I became interested in the Independence for Poland movement. A lot of young men were interested, swearing they were ready to join the army and fight the Russians for the Polish freedom. Most of them managed to miss their trains. But I went to Poland and offered my services as a doctor and was readily accepted. Battlefield medicine is a horrible image, but it is also a marvelous place to confirm and expand your anatomical knowledge. I returned home to New York, somewhat weakened, and there was some concern about my health. But I founded a small medical practice and prospered reasonably well, and then there was a smallpox epidemic that broke out. Now, I remembered from my days in Scotland that there had been one some 20 years earlier that the professors were talking and teaching about, and I remembered what they taught. As a result, it appears that considerably more of my patients survived than those of my contemporaries in New York, but it is still a horrible disease. My father died during the outbreak, and well, he was quite a successful gambler in his fading years, and he won a rather large block of property in what is now Newton Falls, Ohio, which came to me. As my health was somewhat weakened, my wife and our 2 sons decided to head west and come to this new community and help with the expansion and development of it. But I was not going to start another medical practice. But news of my surgical capabilities reached a number of the local doctors, and they would always come to me to act as a consultant, but explaining the complexities of the surgical procedures without any sort of training material is impossible. We thought about, reviewed the situation, and we decided there was no other recourse. We only used the bodies of those who had made little or no contribution to society, thus enabling them to be of at least some benefit to mankind. We succeeded for a number of years. Then rumors began to spread, and my family and I returned to New York. Within a year, I was invited to become president of the Virginia and Peytonia coal mines. And so we moved. You know, coal mines offer marvelous opportunities for surgical education.
Oh, hi! Welcome to HP Fox & Company, finest clothiers and hatter on Market Street. Are you here to pick up some clothing you may have ordered? No, it's a hat. A hat. And you're picking it up for your husband. No, wait, your father. And he's going on a business trip to New York City. What's that? Oh, you're a maid. A maid. Pretty little Irish girl from the east end of town. Oh, yes, I remember now. You're here to pick up clothing for your master. A hat. Green hat with lots and lots of flowers. Isn't that right? Green flowers to match the green dress. Isn't that right? And you're also picking up a fur top hat for your master. Well, I'm sorry to say that your order is not quite ready yet. You see, I've been having a little problems procuring all the necessary materials needed to make your order. You see, it is delayed, I am afraid. Oh, that rhymes a bit too. You see, I'm not even trying. You see, I do not have the arsenic powder needed to achieve the green color in the hat, and the green to make the flowers to match the dress. That green is so popular nowadays. I mean, do you like it? Are you partial to it? I mean, I am not. But now, fashion does not revolve around me now, does it? Now, if your mistress would be amenable to a substitution, like a bird or a fox or some feathers, you'd have to let me know. I'd have to contact my friend, Mr. Tyler, over on Market Street. He's a taxidermist, a very good friend of mine. Most excellent artist when it comes to dead animals. He also uses arsenic powders too, so he's also having trouble keeping up with his supply. You must let me know immediately so I can see what he has in stock. Ooh, now a butterfly or two. That could be just divine. As for the master's hat, it also must be delayed. You see, I'm out of mercury. Oh, I know. Quel dommage. What do I need mercury for? Oh, you see. Use mercury because the furs are so stiff and unforgiving. How else would I get the furs right for the hat? Now for a more indelicate subject, Madame's undergarments. No, not her corsets. I got that all sorted with her. We were able to discuss that she needed a bigger size. Let me tell you, after that conversation, I drink. Mind you, I don't drink on the job. Okay, I do. But who could blame me with a customer like that? And I wouldn't blame you if you drank on the job too. Now for her crinolines. I swear that woman had to step on every dung pile there had to be on Market Street. Now, she tried to blame you for your inability to clean her undergarments. Then she tried to blame me for my inability to make proper crinolines. I swear that woman was just trying to get a discount. That old cheapskate. It was everyone else's fault but her own. I let her know, and I apologized, and I listened, and I drank. Next time, darling, just come to me and I'll give you some of my special soap. Guaranteed to get out any muck that those horses can produce. Well, I'm sorry, dear, I couldn't be more of help with your order. You see, I've been a little shaky and nervous lately. I might go to my sister's out in Cleveland for some time. My hands have been just shaky from all the work and stress lately. Do come to me before I leave. Don't have your father's hat. And your mother's dress also. Green, was it?
Mimsy! Will you please hurry yourself?
I'll be coming, like, shortly.
That is what you said a half hour ago. My God, woman, it seems like you're taking longer and longer to get ready these days. I suppose that's what happens when women get older.
I heard that.
Well, if you can hear that, then why can't you hear me telling you to hurry up? For God's sake, we are going to be late. And I need to make a good impression on Mr. Perkins if I'm going to make this deal.
Oh, I just can't get this right. Martha Brown, you were like the worst maid ever.
That's it. I'm not going.
What? What are you talking about? Are you ill? You look terrible.
Thank you, like ever so much. That's precisely the trouble. I look like terrible, and that maid is of no help to me.
What? Isn't she getting your corset tight enough? The last maid broke your rib and you still weren't satisfied. My God, woman, your insides must be all jumbled together as tight as you want that thing. I believe the doctor spoke to you about not making it too constricting. You're not 20 anymore. Neither is a measurement of your waist.
Well, the doctor isn't a woman.
No, of course not. Thank God.
Nor does he understand, like, fashion.
I should think not. Are you sure you feel well enough? You look a little pale.
Exactly. That's the problem. I'm only a little pale. I've been eating arsenic wafers all morning, and I'm only a little pale.
What? Arsenic wafers? Where would you get such a thing?
From, like, the Sears and Roebuck catalog.
Sears and Roebuck? Why in the world do they sell arsenic wafers? And why would you buy them and then eat them? It's dangerous. You look ill. You look like you have consumption.
Do I? Oh, good. That's just the look I was going for. I even drew in like a little blue vein here to help along with the transparent skin effect.
Why?
Oh, darling, that consumptive look is so popular these days. It makes one look so feminine and delicate. Every woman of fashion has consumption these days. Their translucent skin, so wasted away with their tiny little waists.
Why not just use the whitening lead paste you had before?
Something about that paste didn't agree with me. I got like a palsy in my hands and face whenever I used it.
So, if one wants to look pale, then why the added red cheeks and lips? You trying to look feverish?
And they said you were dumb.
Careful, Mimsy. Putting too much of that on your face might make some people think that I've taken up with an actress or some other lady of the evening.
As if they'd have you. That beard of yours, darling. Like, really.
What's wrong with my beard? I'll have you know I'm the height of fashion, the very thing you're killing yourself for.
Hardly. Men are now leaning towards a more, like, clean-shaven face.
I have no time for visiting shaving parlors, and you know that I am a disaster with the straight razor. The last time I tried to shave with one of those things, the bathroom looked like I'd slaughtered a hog in there.
You need to try one of those new safety razors. I could, like, get you one from the Sears and Roebuck catalog.
No, thank you. I rather enjoy my beard.
You know, I don't particularly enjoy those creepy crawly things hiding in there. Remember the time you contracted lice from one of those farmers you deal with? It took forever to rid this house of those things. I had to endure so much listening to all of Martha's comments and complaints about all of the extra cleaning and washing she had to do. I almost had to hire extra help to rid the house of those filthy little things.
You exaggerated the situation, as always. We have to go now if we're going to make the party on time.
But I have, like, nothing to wear.
What of that blue dress? It would be a perfect match with your blue skin.
Martha didn't properly clean it.
Why? What happened to it?
Last I wore it, it was raining and the streets were like muddy and I didn't see where the horses had been. Martha needs to do a better job tidying up my dresses from that stuff. Why she gets sick so often is beyond me. And she is careless. Last week she caught her skirt in the fireplace and was practically all ablaze. The clumsy girl could have burned the place down.
We will look into getting you new help in the morning. But will you please now finish getting ready so we can go?
Fine. I'll wear my new green one. But if anyone else is wearing green, I swear I will leave the party, like, immediately.
As long as we get there, you can leave with your green dress anytime you please. Just stay away from where the horses have been. I pay the Sears and Roebuck people enough money. Catalogs. Mail order clothing. Packages arriving daily. Who would have seen the day? You know my mother made all her own clothes.
Your mother dressed like a frump, and I refuse to do the same. I want to dress to impress. I represent my rich and successful husband. It's all about how you look, you know.
It looks like we're going to be late. Again!
You hear that low, mournful whistle in the distance? It's the sound of a train in the night. Ain't nothing more sad or more beautiful. Beautiful because back in my day, trains are what you had to travel on. They got you from place to place. They take you out of your old, boring existence and off to someplace new, someplace exciting, someplace fun, but also sad because they could take away your loved ones, sometimes in the most permanent way. You see, trains can be deadly things. All that speed and power coming at you, it's like this. When it comes down to a confrontation between you and a train, that their train's gonna win every time. A train was the victor in the story of Mr. Jacob Schaefer of Bristolville. He was a mighty important man, come from a right nice family, very influential family. And they had a great nice farm up there in Bristolville, 200 some acres. It was fair time, September 1891. And Mr. Schaefer was taking his daughters, Ella and Ida, to the fair. On account of one of them, Miss Ida, or I should say Miss Ella, had a picture on display. Now, she was a right good painter in spite of the fact that she was an invalid and all. And that day, they were going over to the train station. They were going to pick up Mr. Schaefer's other daughter, Mrs. Booth, who was coming up from Youngstown that morning on the train so they could all go to the fair together. Well, Mr. Schaefer was running a little late that day. And he just knew how his daughter hated to wait, so he was trying to get to the station as fast as he could. He's headed up toward the tracks at Dunwoody's Crossing. Now that's about a mile and a half from North Park Avenue. And he sees a train approaching the crossing. Well, he must have thought he could beat it, because the witnesses says he was cracking that whip, yelling at that horse all the way. But you know what? That horse balked. The train was going down the tracks at a speed that demanded no delay. And the horse raced across the tracks and stopped dead. The horse and the front wheels of the wagon cleared the rails, but the passengers and the wagon was not so lucky. 3 passengers were tossed together in sort of a wad about 25, 30 feet ahead. The 2 girls, they lay in the gutter by the cattle guards. Mr. Schaefer lay dead on a nearby bank. When they pulled Miss Ella out of there, she was badly injured. They thought she was dead, but they later revived her. As for Miss Ida, she was not so lucky. She lay entangled in a heap, barely recognizable, covered in blood. Her head was crushed. Now for Mr. Schaefer, his injuries didn't really look too bad, but they later discovered he had a broken back. The funeral for Mr. Schaefer and Miss Ida was one of the most attended ever in Trumbull County. It was very sad, as most funerals are. I'm a-thinking many folks come out of curiosity and, of course, concern for the surviving Miss Ella. The showing, of course, was held at the family farm, and then later on they had the services at the nearby Disciple Church. Miss Ella, in spite of her injuries, was able to attend. I was there too, feeling sad and sorry for the survivors of the Schaefer clan. Oh, I ain't so as important as those people. I'm just a mill worker down at the rolling mill. My name's Tom Lally, and I know something about them trains too. I used to hop them all the time. It was a quick way to get from place to place on those freight trains. Used to do it every night after work. I could even do it when I was drunk, which I have to admit was a condition I was in quite frequently. But I knew about the power and the speed of them big locomotives. I know it intimately. One night after work, about 2 in the morning, I goes out, hops a train. I don't know, maybe this time it was the drink. I don't know. But this time I missed. When they found my mangled body, they figured I'd been hit by several trains. There weren't much left of me. I was 30 years old. Those train whistles in the night, beautiful but sad.
Oh, hello there. You'll have to excuse me. It's been a hectic day today. Hadn't had time to empty all the chamber pots. So much going on here right now, and I'm frightfully busy. My husband and the children have seemed to become ill. It's nothing though, really, I'm thinking. But most everyone is taken to their beds on my insistence, just as a precaution. I heard tell there might be consumption about, so you can't be too careful these days. Now, the little one's got a fever, and the 2 older girls' skin is all pale, and their lips are a bit pink, and their cheeks too. They seem to like the look of it for some reason. Keep checking themselves in their hand mirrors. They wouldn't be so thrilled if they actually did have consumption. I seen what it did to me father-in-law, and it ain't a pretty picture. Watching him spitting up blood and wasting away to nothing. My husband keeps coughing. But I'm sure it's just from that mill work he does, shoveling coal into them furnaces. So blazing hot, it's like Satan himself is going to emerge any minute. I'll be popping down to the druggist in a bit to see if he'd be having anything I could give them for their fevers. But for right now, I'm just keeping them in bed and giving them a little whiskey and honey. My husband gets more whiskey than honey, but that's nothing new. I hope he don't find out I've been sharing his bottle with the children. I might get a fresh beating for that one. But he's asleep now. And don't be telling Phoebe Sutcliffe I done give everyone the whiskey for their ailments. That woman is adamant about the evils of drink. So adamant she went and gave one of her daughters the second name of Temperance, for the love of God. That's dedication, or insanity. I'm not the one to decide which, though. Well, I'm sure the druggist will have something appropriate for the children to take. But I don't think I'll be getting that bottle away from Michael anytime soon, I can tell you. Oh, me apron. Oh, that's nothing right there. I was heating up some water for the children's tea, and I got a bit too close to the fire, is all that is. One has to be so careful, but I was in a hurry and I wasn't paying attention. At least it was only me apron. I've scorched many a dress front cooking, not to mention what happens to the thing when I try to warm me backside on cold winter's nights. But my friend Martha, she seems to catch herself on fire on a regular basis. Poor dear. Well, she's a maid, and she gets so frazzled trying to please her mistress that she don't watch what she's doing. That woman is always complaining and runs poor Martha ragged, so she ends up ruining many a uniform serving that ungrateful cow. Ah, but it's a living now, isn't it? Well, when all this illness in me arm struck, I was just in the middle of cleaning up the parlour after we'd done some repairs and renovations in there. I got Michael to paint it that new green colour everyone's always going on about. I have to say, I am quite partial to it myself. Got the same colour wallpaper in my bedroom in the girls' room. I know all the greens are popular these days, but I prefer Shills' green to Paris green, even though that one's currently fashionable. Now, to my mind, the Paris green has got a bit too much blue in it for my taste. And I feel like anything with the word Paris attached to it is going to make people think that they're getting something foreign and exotic. And you know they're going to be paying a lot more for that notion. The Shills' green is more reminiscent of a field of lovely clover. And it's cheaper. Mr. Schill was the first to get that colour combination. I hear tell it's a combination of all sorts of things. Can you believe it? Like copper and minerals and arsenic and whatnot. What make it such a lovely colour? You know, I also heard that they use similar ingredients to get the same colour in fabric to make dresses. You could get a frock made to match your drapes. It's amazing to me what they can do with chemistry and how many products there are made with arsenic these days. Incredible. You just can't beat science. All I remember arsenic being used for was rat poison and the main ingredient in a murder mystery. Oh, and now me husband's got the full notion in his head that we should get electricity put in the house for lighting purposes. Electricity. What is so wrong with our old gas lighting system? Or even candles for that matter, I says to him. Oh, but Michael wants to be modern. He wants to convert our gas chandelier and turn it into an electric one. I said I would think about it. Electricity is so unreliable though. Perhaps we could do a combination of the two. I heard that sort of thing from Phoebe Sutcliffe. She has a chandelier where the top part is gas, bottom part electric. She says if the electricity doesn't work, which it doesn't, a lot, well then you have the gas as sort of like a backup lighting. 2 in 1. Sounds more efficient that way. I'll speak to my husband on that when he gets better. Well, I best be getting to the druggist. I think I'll stop by the grocer's for a few items as well. But I ain't about to be purchasing none of that swill they're passing off as milk these days. No, sir, absolutely not. If I want milk, I'll be getting it, and I do get it from my cousin Bessie's cow, so that I know that it's real and not a bunch of water and plaster and whatnot. Now, I don't want to cast any dispersions on that grocer down on Main Street. Mr. Eatwell is his name. What a name for a grocer, isn't it? I'm sure Mr. Eatwell didn't know that there was chalk and formaldehyde in that stuff he was pawning off his milk. And I'm sure he took the word of them dairy farmers that it was good, clean milk. But after what I heard about that stuff being sold in Indiana that was thinned down with pond water, what had worms in it, oh, I don't take no chances. Now, I know they gotta put some stuff in some foods to preserve it. And I suppose a little borax never hurt no one. But I draw the line when it comes to my coffee having sawdust and burnt rope bits in it. Now, I told Mr. Eatwell about that, and he said he'd be on the lookout for any problems with the different ground coffees. And I don't know if he did or not. I don't know about him. That's why I get all of me flour from the Mill Creek Mills down in Youngstown. I know Mr. Lanterman personally, and he's a good man. I know I'm just getting grain when I buy from him, not a bunch of plaster and cement powder. I get me cornmeal from there too. Well, I best skedaddle. Before I go downtown, I've got to get to the rest of these chamber pots before someone takes a notion of leaving their beds and going down to the facilities out back. You know, we're lucky that our outhouse is down by the river. That way we can drain it, so there's not a lot of smell, which works out especially during the summertime. Well, most of the time, if it's just liquid in the pots, I'll just dump it out instead of going all the way down to the privy. Oh, I think I better pump some more water for the children's tea. Yeah, Michael don't like tea. Don't see no use for drinking no water either. I guess he doesn't want to water down his whiskey, I imagine. He'll be right as rain. I'm sure of it. In just a few more days and a few more bottles. He has to. We got 5 children to provide for. We can't be having consumption here. Not here. No, sir. Not in my house. I have to go. You'll take care now.